Hello and welcome to Benue Television News at 9. I am Susan Atchin. The headlines: Governor Ali seeks CBN support to develop Benue's agric and mining sectors. NDLEA convicts 22 drug dealers in July. On the international scene, Edo asks court to suspend judgment reinstating tribal. And on the international scene, a typhoon Gaimi hits Chinese seaboard as authorities warn of flash floods. The Benue state government has called on people of the state to resist division of Nigeria but work for unity of the country. Governor of the state, Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia, made the call Thursday at Government House Makurdi when he received a delegation from the Police Community Relation Committee. Correspondent Emmanuel Akule has the details of this report.
This is a delegation from the National Police Community Relation Committee on a courtesy visit to Governor Hyacinth Alia in Government House Makurdi. The State Deputy Governor, Dr. Samode, is receiving these visitors on behalf of the State Governor. He says he is concerned about the planned protest in the country, calling for Kama's government has embarked on projects and reforms that will in no distant time improve the economy and the living conditions of Nigerians.
What we don't want in this nation, and I speak for the governor of the states, the indivisibility and the unity of this country at no time can be compromised under any guise. It is the civic right of citizens to protest, but antecedents have shown us in this country that people take advantage of protests. Criminal elements infiltrate genuine protesters, and most times we have a breach of public peace. This is not acceptable at every point in time.
The governor, through his deputy, acknowledges President Bola Tinubu's efforts at the federal level towards improving the living conditions of Nigerians, especially in responding promptly to the challenges of the people to avoid the planned protest in the country. He says the move sparks of the spirit of a true Democrat that is representative of President Tinubu. The governor describes the Police Community Relation Committee as an important vehicle to bridge the gap between police and the Nigerian populace and to raise the standard of police operations using new reforms. The governor assures the committee of government support towards preventing and managing crime in the state and by extension the country.
We put the issue of the planned protests in the front burner. We have discussed it extensively. Over the last 2 weeks, we have put in place strategies that are civil and democratic to engage with relevant stakeholders, and especially those who feel aggrieved. There are sacrifices we have to make as a nation to move forward.
National Chairman, Police Community Relation Committee, Mr. Ibrahim Olani, states his team's mission to the state to sensitize the people on the need to support the present government in its efforts to secure the nation. He acknowledges the investment of the Benue state government in the security architecture of the state, pledging the support of the committee to Governor Alia's administration to achieve more in curbing crime and criminality.
We are on ground to assess the security situation by ourselves, of which our result is positive, of which we see the giant investment of His Excellency on the security architecture of this state.
Established 40 years ago, the Police Community Relation Committee has the mandate to support the Nigerian police and other security agencies towards achieving a more secured and stable country. Emmanuel Akula, Benue Television News, Makurdi.
Makurdi Local Government Council has flagged off its fertilizer distribution to Benue farmers in the area. Chairman of the Local Government Council, Mr. James Doem, performed the ceremony Thursday at the Secretariat of the Council in Makurdi, and correspondent Frank Alanchima reports that the distribution will be carried out for all the council wards to benefit. Here is her report.
Performing the distribution, Chairman of Makudi Local Government Council, Mr. James Dwem, charged the farmers to utilize the product for farming as intended by the administration. Dwem warned against sale of the product, saying the objective of the distribution is to cushion the economic hardship and its effect on total agricultural yield during the harvesting season. He expressed gratitude to Governor Hyacinth Alia for ensuring that farmers have easy access to fertilizers during this administration, unlike in the past.
This thing is given with a genuine intention, and we could not abuse this privilege. It's a privilege, it's not a right. If you take this fertilizer, give it to the rightful person. Don't sell it. One pack, even a move, don't sell it. I want to sincerely thank His Excellency for his plight for the masses.
Prominent citizens of the state, Chief Godwin Kereve, urged the farmers to work hard and encourage the governor to serve the state better.
Government is interested in making sure that every person, every farmer gets a bag or half of the bag of this. The work is plenty, but the laborers are very few. So you have to take into consideration the tight situation now. It is your support that we need. This government needs your support. And the support is from the grassroots. And these are the grassroots people.
State Secretary of All Progressives Congress APC Party, Heritage Igbe, representing Ogondo people, assures of adequate usage of the fertilizer, which they believe would go a long way to yield much harvest.
They should apply the fertilizer as instructed, so that they will get the result.
Another beneficiary who represented the Puso people of high level adds that the move will greatly ameliorate the people's sufferings in accessing the fertilizers for their farms.
We really appreciate the government. We really appreciate our governor, His Excellency, for the good work, having his people at heart. And we pray that God too will answer our prayer this year. There will be much food in Benue and in Nigeria.
Trucks of fertilizers have been procured for this particular distribution exercise. Franca Lashima, Benue Television News, Makudi.
Well, the Benue State government is to partner the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) towards boosting the economy of the state. Governor Hyacinth Alia announced this Wednesday in Abuja after his meeting with the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso. According to the Principal Special Assistant to the Governor in Media, Publicity and Strategic Communication, Bridget Tikia, the governor was at the Apex Bank to seek partnership and discuss crucial matters for economic growth and development of Benue State. Governor Alia said Benue State, as the food basket of the nation, has immense potential to contribute to the nation's economy through diverse initiatives such as the export of sesame seeds and mining opportunities. He explained that his government was seeking the CBN support in the areas of jobs creation, foreign exchange, generation, and food security. Governor Alia highlighted the significant contributions of the CBN, including the supply of 60 trailer loads of fertilizer to boost agricultural production, requesting for the support to enhance employment and foreign exchange initiatives and boost agricultural production in the state. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu on Thursday convened a closed-door meeting with senior traditional rulers and security officials as the August End Bad Government rally approaches. The meeting, which began around 2:30 p.m., took place at the State House in Abuja. The meeting was also attended by National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun, as well as various ministers and members of the President's cabinet. Among the notable traditional rulers present were Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammadu Sa'ad Abubakar III, and the Oni of Ife, Obai Niton Ogunsi, along with other leaders from across the nation. In part two, after the break, the federal government has reiterated commitment to the full implementation of the 2024 budget. We'll bring you this and much more after this break. Do join us again.
Benue Fashion Show Season 3 is here.
It's
that time of the year for fashion designers, entrepreneurs, and fashion enthusiasts to shine.
This year, sale of forms for the competition begins from 15th April to 28th of July 2024.
Pick a form at Benue Television, located at Special Duties Wing, Government House, Makurdi. Form cost 3,000 naira only.
Stage 1 screening begins on the 28th of July 2024. Great prizes await you.
The first prize, 1 million naira. Second prize, 500,000 naira. And third prize, 300,000 naira. All prizes are inclusive of cash and fashion tools. Also, consolation prizes and gift items.
For sponsorship, partnership and inquiries, please call Benue TV Marketing on 0906 188 9838 or 0703 794 5569.
Benue Fashion Show,
embracing fusion fashion.
Welcome back if you are just joining us. This is Benue Television News at 9. Well, the federal government has restated commitment to the full implementation of the 2024 budget. It also pledged to promote a transparent and efficient financial management system. The commitments were made Wednesday by the Finance Minister and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wole Edun. He spoke during a meeting with the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts at the National Assembly in Abuja. Edun's meeting with the House panel came a day after the National Assembly passed the 6.2 trillion naira supplementary appropriation bill to raise the 2024 budget to 35.05 trillion naira from 28.8 trillion naira. While pledging to achieve a robust and transparent financial management system, the minister underscored the government's dedication to enhancing the efficiency of financial operations across the various ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs. He called for accelerated implementation of the 2024 budget, underscoring the need for timely and effective performance to achieve the set goals. The collaboration between the Federal Ministry of Finance and the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts marks a significant step towards achieving a robust and transparent financial management system in Nigeria. The meeting saw the active participation of several members of the House of Representatives, including Jeremiah Umar, Daniel Asama Ago, Matthew Umugu Aliyu Bapa, Nyampa Zachariah Daudu, Akuye Ademorin, Akiba Basi, and Olatunji Akinosi. Meanwhile, mixed reactions have continued to trail the planned nationwide protests called by some unnamed groups over the current hardship in the country. Reports show that some undisclosed bodies planned the protest for August 1, with posters and hashtags already made viral on social media platforms. Speaking with newsmen in Ibadan on Thursday, some respondents opposed the protest while others saw it as the people's legitimate and fundamental right to air their grievances. A civil servant at the State Secretariat, Mrs. Toyin Olutimilaine, said the protest might not be positive for the polity because it could disrupt their work schedule. She said it can affect people's daily routine because sometimes these protests get out of control. Another civil servant, Mr. Folarin Babatunde, also opposed the idea of protesting to be held. According to him, the protest is only an excuse for the youths to show their presence and an opportunity for criminals to exhibit their criminal tendencies. It will lead to criminal activities such as vandalism and the destruction of properties, putting lives at stake. Meanwhile, Mrs. Olarinwaju Temitope, a trader at the Ring Road axis of Ibadan, was more interested in protecting her business should the protest end in looting and destruction of properties. On the other hand, a youth corps member, Mr. Ifanyi Izi, says he wholeheartedly supports the protest. According to him, the country is in a state of distress and everybody is just used to suffering and smiling. Izi said although the protest might not lead to a complete change, it will at least make them see that the people want to change and they have to be heard. We now shift attention to the Kano State Command of the National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency on Thursday, who disclosed that it secured the conviction of 22 drug dealers in the state in July 2024. Confirming the convictions to newsmen on Thursday, commander of the agency, Abubakar Idris Ahmad, described the feat as a major victory in its fight against illicit drug trafficking and abuse. Idris Ahmad noted that out of the 22 drug dealers convicted, one Abubakar Mua Tazwa resulted in an altercation during which he stabbed an NDLEA officer. Motazu was charged to court and sentenced to 3 years in a correctional center, while the other convicts were sentenced to various terms of imprisonment. The narcotics commander said that the command would continue the fight against drug trafficking and abuse and prosecute those culpable. Idris Ahmad commended the chairman, chief executive officer of the agency, retired Brigadier General Muhammad Buba Marwa, for his unwavering support and commitment to the fight against drug abuse. To accomplish its mission of ridding the state of drug addicts, the commander solicited the support of the general public, urging them to remain vigilant and report any suspicious activities related to drug abuse and trafficking to the agency for prompt action. We'll now take a break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us. Welcome back. We're glad that you joined us on Benue Television News at 9. Well, moving on, the refiners who spoke under the aegis of the Crude Oil Refiners Association of Nigeria said there are other refineries at different stages of completion to join the 650,000 capacity Dangote Petroleum Refinery. In an interview, Korean Publicity Secretary Eche Doku told newsmen that the Dangote Refinery and others in the country can satisfy the fuel needs of the nation. Idoko's comment is coming at a time when the chief executive of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Regulatory Authority, Farouk Ahmed, said the country would not stop fuel importation to break the Dangote monopoly and ensure energy security. The Korean official argued that there was no way the government would tackle rising inflation if it did not address the high cost of fuel, especially by working with the local refiners. Idoko said Nigeria has enough crude oil to feed Dangote and other refineries, but noted that crude theft has been the major challenge to the upstream oil sector. He mentioned that ending the importation of fuel would strengthen the naira against the dollar, asking that the IOCs should start selling fuel directly to local refiners instead of referring them to their trading agents in Europe. Following the increase in cases of flood across the country, the Director General National Emergency Management Agency (NEMA), Zubaidu Umar, has inaugurated the Emergency Operations Center (EOC) in Abuja. The center is expected to monitor and coordinate the timely deployment of resources for search and rescue in support of the zonal territorial offices nationwide. The DG also activated the Situation Room at NEMA headquarters in Abuja for flood data collection, processing and dissemination of authentic information from incident sites. She also convened a meeting of management and zonal directors to strengthen flood response and operational readiness of the agency to disasters in the country. The head of the press unit of NEMA, Manzo Ezekiel, in a statement in Abuja on Thursday, stated that the meeting also reviewed the status of the flood situation in the country and the response carried out so far, as well as commitment by the stakeholders, especially the State Emergency Management Agency, SEMAs, to incidents in their areas. The DG directed the zonal directors to strengthen synergy with the SEMAs in prepositioning rescue equipment and facilities available for immediate deployment in the event of flood in the various areas of responsibilities, and report the same to the center that has been opened at NEMA headquarters in Abuja. Meanwhile, the Edo State government and the State Assembly have filed two separate applications before Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja to suspend the judgment reinstating Philip Shaibu as the Deputy Governor of the state, pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice. The two applicants in separate motions challenged Shaibu's reinstatement on the grounds of the court's jurisdiction to entertain the suit, while the Edo State Attorney General, on behalf of the state government, filed its motion on notice through its counsel Oluwole Iyamu, SAN. The House of Assembly filed theirs through their lawyer Ken Muzai, SAN. Recall that Shaibu was impeached on April 8, 2024, following the adoption of the report of a 7-member investigative panel set up by the Chief Judge of Edo State, Daniel Okungbowa, which was headed by S.C. Omonua, a retired justice. The reinstated Deputy Governor was impeached on the grounds of misconduct, perjury, and disclosure of government secrets. He, however, challenged his impeachment in a suit marked FHC /ABJ/CS/478/2024. On July 7, 2024, while delivering judgment in the suit, Justice Omotosho voided his impeachment and ordered his reinstatement to office because the House of Assembly failed to comply with due process in the impeachment. Justice Omotosho also declared that the allegation on which the Assembly based the impeachment proceedings was untenable in law and did not constitute gross misconduct. At Thursday's sitting, Justice Omotosho adjourned the hearing on the motion of notice till September 24. We'll now take a break. When we come back, international news. Please stay with us. Welcome back. We're still live on Benue Television News at 9. And now moving on to the international scene, where police are investigating the abduction and murder of Zambia's newly appointed broadcasting regulator chief, Guntila Muleya's body was discovered on the outskirts of the capital, Lusaka, on Wednesday with gunshot wounds. His death has shocked people, especially as the motive is unknown and as gun violence is not common in the southern African nation. Police believe the Director General of the Independent Broadcasting Authority, IBA, was kidnapped after leaving work on Tuesday. The IBA is responsible for licensing standards and enforcing compliance. When Mr. Muleya failed to return home on Tuesday night, his family alerted the police and began to search for him. The police said his body was discovered by a member of the public as he was on his way to work. 2 bullet cartridges were also found at the scene. Mr. Muleya took over at the IBA in May from a veteran journalist who had headed the authority for 10 years. Meanwhile, Typhoon Gaimi has reached southeastern China after churning across the Taiwan Strait. The typhoon has prompted warnings of swelling rivers, flash floods, and waterlogging in cities and provinces that were hit by extreme rains several weeks ago. The third and most powerful typhoon to hit China's eastern seaboard this year made landfall in Fujian province at 11:50 GMT on Thursday after whipping Taiwan with gusts of up to 227 kilometers per hour, some of the strongest winds recorded in the western Pacific Ocean. Before its arrival, 240,800 people in Fujian were evacuated, despite slightly weakening since its landfall in Fujian's Putian, a city of more than 3 million people. Gamey and its giant storm bands are forecast to unleash intense rainfall in at least 10 Chinese provinces in the coming days. The arrival of Gamey has drawn comparisons with Typhoon Doksuri last year, which triggered historic flooding as far north as Beijing and cost nationwide losses of nearly $30 billion. U.S. President Joe Biden has told Americans in a televised address that he decided to end his faltering re-election campaign in a bid to save U.S. democracy. Mr. Biden, 81, said he felt his record as president merited a second term, but that nothing can come in the way of saving the American democracy. He said he endorsed a U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris to unite their fellow Democrats and the country. The White House speech marked his first public appearance since he led the race on 21 July, paving the way for Ms. Harris to run for the party's nomination. Pressure had been building on him from colleagues and donors to step aside over doubt about his ability to serve another term following a disastrous debate with Republican Donald Trump. It was notable that he did not address how his campaign unraveled and the fact that a defeat to Mr. Trump looked more likely the longer he resisted calls for him to quit. Opinion polls so far suggest Ms. Harris' bounce since she took over Mr. Biden's mantle, making it a tight race between her and the former president if she wins the nomination, which looks likely. Let's now join Loretta Uko for weather report.
A beautiful Friday to you out there, and here is the weather report for Friday. Now let's quickly look at the weather here in Benue State. In Makudi, Otupo, Boko, Katsina, the atmosphere will be cloudy with heavy rainfall all through the day. The temperatures vary between 26 degrees Celsius low and 30 degrees Celsius high. Humidity of 86% with 72% possibility of precipitation. We also anticipate similar weather conditions in the Federal Capital Territory with temperature low around 22 degrees Celsius and high around 29 degrees Celsius. While in Sokoto State, we anticipate rainfall with thunderstorms all through the day with temperatures low around 22 degrees Celsius and high around 30 degrees Celsius. And that's it from here. Join us again for another weather report. I am Loretta Uko.
Thanks, Loretta. Well, that brings us to the end of the news. But before we go, let's take another look at the top stories. In the headlines, we saw that Governor Ali seeks for CBN support to develop Benue's agri and mining sectors. We saw that NDLEA convicted 22 drug dealers in July. We also saw that Edo asked court to suspend judgment reinstating Chaibo. Now, the international scene, Typhoon Gamey hits Chinese seaboard as authorities warned of flash floods. Well, that was Benue Television News at 9. Thanks for watching. I am Susan Aching. Do have a lovely morning.